What's up, everybody? Z3KO Trinity here. Welcome to Goosebumps 3KO. Today's book review is a little bit strange. We got egg monsters from Mars. That's right. This was the first time of me reading this story. I didn't really know anything about it, so that was unique. It weren't an episode or something, so I was excited about that. And I also, I can't see, but I also got the egg monster right there. Alright, this was a pretty good book. I actually really liked this one. It was solid, straightforward to the point. And it was kind of like one of those science fiction kind of things, like The Blob or stuff like that. Or You Mad Scientist kind of thing. And I really, really liked that. The only complaint that I probably would have is that it's kind of plain. I wish that there was a little bit more to the story. A little bit more with the actual aliens. A little bit more with maybe the kid, our main character. But we'll get into that. What's this about, you ask? Well, this is about a boy with the strangest name to me. His name is Dana. Yeah, Dana, okay. I guess there's nothing wrong with it. I just never really thought of a boy named Dana. But this boy, his parents are scientists, so he wants to be a scientist too. Sorry. He wants to be a scientist too, like them. And the parents are always busy. They're so busy, they barely even pay attention to the kids anyway. And he has a little sister named Brandy. And she don't really do too much in this story. The only kind of... she's a little bratty, but not like to the extreme of some Goosebumps characters. Basically, the only quirk she has is that she bats her eyes and gets her anything she wants. Well, it's her birthday, and it's a week before Easter. So this is actually an Easter story. So that's kind of unique. Which, egg monsters, yeah. But her birthday is a week before Easter. And for her birthday, she wants an egg hunt with all her friends. So the parents give it to her because, she batted that eyes. Egg hunt, please. And, yeah. But the parents are so damn lazy. Like, they didn't hard-boil the eggs. They didn't collar the eggs. They just grabbed a bunch of eggs straight out the carton and just hid them around the house. Not inside, but outside. They just hid them around the house and just said, y'all have fun. We'll be in here not paying a lick of attention to any of y'all. So yeah, great parents right there. I may actually do a ranking video. It'll probably be very hard, but I might do a ranking video of the parents of Goosebumps to see which one is the absolute worst parents of all the Goosebumps original 64 books. But yeah, so parents hide the eggs. They're like, see y'all, deuces. And the kids have an Easter egg hunt. Now, Dana has this friend named Anne that he hangs out with, and apparently he is real macho about it, which there is a prize for this egg hunt. It's some kind of doll, some kind of expensive doll. So the boys are at the party, they're just like, well, hell, we might as well not even find no eggs. But Anne, he's kind of he wants to be real macho man around Anne. And she's picking him about liking Ninja Turtles. What's wrong with liking Ninja Turtles? He's like, I don't like Ninja Turtles. She's like, you had clothes. You had backpack. You came to school with the turtle shell. You have all the action figures and the DVDs. And he goes, that don't mean I like the turtles. You want everyone at school to call you Raphael. That don't mean shit. I don't like turtles. So, yeah, what's wrong with liking Ninja Turtles? What the hell? Like, I could understand if it was something like My Little Pony or, something like to that extent, or maybe a little bit kiddish like Sesame Street. Yeah, I could understand not wanting to shout it to the world that you like it as a 12-year-old, but Ninja Turtles, really? All right, let's move on. So they're having this egg hunt, and old Dana, he decides, oh, I'm gonna go far out, get the eggs at the most perimeter, because I'm gonna win this. He don't really want the doll, but he just wants to win. And so he goes out, and by the riverbank, he finds this big egg that's green, and it's got like pulsing purple veins. Gross. So, yeah. And he's like, what's this? And so he carries it, and he's trying to show Anne the egg, and like all kinds of just stuff happens. He falls, the egg falls, but it don't break. It's pretty tough egg. So he's like, well, that's strange. How strange. And then there's a big old egg fight that happens. We all saw it coming. Should have hard-boiled the eggs, parents. Well, they're splattered everywhere. They're big old fights, so the parents get pissed off. And the kid's like, hey, Mom and Dad, I found this really cool big egg that's green and pulsing veins. You're scientists. Would you like to see it? And they're like, we don't want nothing to do with eggs today. Just go to your room. So he goes to the room. Well, later the next day, he finds the egg has hatched. And instead of a baby turtle, instead of something like that, we get this little guy. It's like an egg yolk symbiote looking thing with black eyes. Venom! And, yeah, and he's like, what is this? He don't even know if it's, actual animal or not. He thinks he's discovered something brand new. So, what I kind of would have liked is, he's wanting to be a scientist. He could have, like, kept it a few weeks or something, did some tests on it, stuff like that. And another thing, they kind of formed this little bond through the story, but once it gets towards near, like, a little bit past the middle, it's like that bond don't matter, really. So, I kind of would have liked a more of an E.T. kind of approach, like him and that egg kind of bond really strong, and, it could have played out more, but let me just get more into it. So, the boy decides to take this egg to his friend Anne, which all kinds of stuff happens. It almost gets ate up because it looks like scrambled eggs. It almost goes into the, the thing left my thing. The disposal unit. So, yeah, all kinds of stuff happens like that. So he gets it out of there. Well, apparently 3 blocks down from his house is a science lab. So he's like, I know, I'll take it down there and get a scientist's point of view about this thing. So he goes down there, and he goes there, and it's basically, like, closed, but there is somebody in there. So he meets this old man. His name is Dr. Gray. And he's got, like, gray hair parted in the middle and stuff like that, blue eyes, just an old man. So he shows him the egg monster. And he's like, come on in. And he goes in, and he's talking to the kid. We brings him to this room, which is like a refrigerated room. And inside is like 11 of those egg monsters. And he's like, I thought I got them all. Apparently there was a meteor shower, and these monsters apparently had fell, and he thinks they're from Mars. So, which is a cold planet, which is why he keeps them refrigerated. Keep your eggs refrigerated, y'all. And, so he wants to add his to the set and do some studies. But here's where the creepy part of the story comes into play. He tells our young Dana that he cannot leave. Now, here he is. He locks Dana up in this freezer. And he's like, I gotta do experiments on you. I gotta watch you. Who knows what kind of disease or something you got from this egg monster. We don't know what's going to happen with that. So he's wanting to watch him. So that's pretty creepy. Like, imagine yourself, a 12-year-old kid, in that situation. That's really creepy. So here he is inside this thing with all these egg monsters. He has no idea what they do or anything like that. Apparently, the only thing these egg monsters really do is they form shapes. Like, they'll be a circle, they could turn to a square, a triangle. I guess that's their way of communicating. But it never really goes any further than that. And, well, as the story progresses, he complains throughout the whole book that he's freezing to death and stuff like that. Well, his dad shows up, and his dad's looking for him, and this part disturbed me, actually. He can see his dad. It's a glass room. He can clearly see his dad. So he's screaming, Dad, help, help! But the room is soundproof, and apparently you can't see from the other side. So the dad, he has no idea he's there. Now that is disturbing. Can you imagine being in that situation? You see your mom and dad, and you're just pounding away, help, help! But they can't hear you, can't see you, and then he just leaves. That part actually bothered me. I know it's a kid's book, but that part actually got to me. So the kid keeps on. The doctor, he does a little experiment here and there. He doesn't really do too much for a book about scientists. There's not really a lot of science going on, but anyway, the doctor gets pissed off at the kid, and he's like, well, you could just die for all I care. You could either die from the radiation of the monsters or die from hypothermia. We'll just see what happens. Well, what ends up happening is these egg monsters bond together to form one huge egg monster blanket. And like I said, his alien thing just kind of gets lost with the others, like it no longer matters. So that kind of bothered me. I kind of wish that they would have had more of an E.T. bond, something, but no longer mattered. They all formed together in one big blanket, wrapped around him, and kept him warm through the night. They cuddled him. They're like, it'll be alright. Everything will be okay. They whisper in his ear, penis. So, just things that'll keep him warm. Well, the doctor sees this, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he goes in, and he's like, how did you get him to do that? What did you do? You're ruining my experiments, blah, 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 blah. He was a scientist, could have been recording the whole time, but R.L. Stein, do you know what you're doing? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so the egg monsters decide, we don't like you, sir. So they wrap themselves around him, smothering him. Well, the boy, he darts. He no longer wants to stick around to see what happens. He hauls ass and he gets home. So he explains to his parents the whole story. They go down to give that scientist guy a piece of their mind. And when they get there, he's no longer there. The aliens are no longer there. There's no sign of foul play anywhere. So the book comes to its climactic ending. And the ending, I don't even know how to describe it. Let me just read it to you. Well, I'll get there immediately in one day. It says, everything looked so beautiful to me. The grass, the trees, the spring flowers, the sun setting behind the trees. What's going on is he's home and he's getting ready to walk over to Anne's house to kind of hang out and stuff like that. And he's just enjoying nature, enjoying everything because, he thought he was going to die in that freezer. So, spring flowers, the sun setting behind the trees. What a day. What a beautiful, perfect, normal day. Which could have ended there, and I would have been fine with that. That would have been like a lovely ending. But then it continues, and then halfway across Anne's lawn, I stopped, crouched down on the grass, and I laid the biggest egg you ever saw. R.L. Stein, are you okay? This boy walking drops his drawers and shits out the biggest egg he's ever laid. Has he laid an egg before? Did he do this once? He shits the biggest egg he's ever laid in his life. So, R.L. Stein, are you telling me that when the egg monsters blanketed this child to keep him warm, did they, what happened? Did they lay an egg inside the boy? Okay. I'm not going to touch it any further. That's what she said. But, yeah, I liked the story. I really did. I enjoyed the heck out of this. I thought it was creepy. It's straightforward. It's just a good story. Like I said, though, it's pretty plain. I wished that he could have formed a better bond with his egg monster. His egg monster could have, convinced the others to save the boy, There could have been some actual scientific stuff that could have happened. The egg monster could have got sick or something, and that could have been the reason why the boy takes him to that scientist guy or something, Some kind of bond was missing. I would have liked that. I think that would have really made a nice story altogether, and you really wouldn't have to add too much more to it. Like, it's 114 pages. I've read 130-page books of Goosebumps. It could have easily been that. But, yeah. What did you guys think about this? Do you like this book? Do you hate this book? What about that ending, y'all? I give this book a 6 out of 10, which is a C. So, yeah. 6 out of 10, a C. It was really, really good. So let's see what it says, shall we? They're no yolk. Which came first, the monster or the egg? An egg hunt. That's what Dana Johnson's bratty little bitch of a sister, Brandy, wants to have at her birthday party. And whatever Brandy wants, Brandy gets. Reminds me of that other Goosebumps story, Bride of the Living Dummy. Whatever Mary Ellen wants, Mary Ellen gets. Dana's not big on egg hunts. I really weren't either when I was a kid. I liked them, but it weren't my favorite activity. That was before he found the egg. Oh, he found the egg and got married. It's not like a normal egg. It's not like the rest of the dozen. It's about the size of a softball. It's covered with ugly, blue and purple veins. I'm sorry, I thought it was just purple. And it's starting to hatch. Breeder beware. You're in for some giggles. Also from R.L. Stein, The Beast from the East. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I guess see you in the next video. They're scared.